Hi, it's Steffi from Steffi's Beads and Baubles with kind of a different video for you today. A lot of people have the new Cricut cutters or other die cutters, and they're wonderful, absolutely fabulous, but they're quite pricey, and a lot of people like myself just can't spend the money on them right now and don't have the money to buy the dies. So what I've been doing for the last 30 years, because there were no die cutters back then, is I used cookie cutters. I would take a pretty cookie cutter in the shape I like. Here's a cross, and here's a whole bunch of crosses that I made using this method. All different colors, different fabrics of, well, they're all felt. But felt is such a cheap medium. It is in so many colors, and the standard sheet is 20 to 25 cents. The more expensive run 50 to $1, but you get a lot of stuff out of that sheet. Now you could do this technique on the foam sheets. You could do it on leather, I would imagine, and if you have the right ink and the right nippers or cutters for metal, you could probably even do it on metal, but definitely on foam and felt for sure. So I just take my cookie cutter, and in this case I'm going to use a heart shape, and I take just a regular old stamp pad, and you can pick these up at any hobby store, and I always put another piece of felt underneath for a little cushion, and you simply press down really hard and you have a printed piece. Then you just cut it out, and you can do whatever you were going to do with the die cutter. What I like about this is you can cut out so many wonderful shapes. Here I did a hummingbird from a hummingbird cutter. And here's some little duckies. I did these probably 20 years ago, and I've still got them. I've got a couple buckets of stuff I've cut out over the years. These I made for bridal showers. And I've got stars, all kinds of stars, and the crosses. I do holiday things, but for a little girl, we got the crowns, and all kinds of wonderful. I've got in here some other crowns that I did. These are ladies' shoes that you can decorate. I've done things with those. All kinds of hearts in different sizes. And this really works well. And what I would do is I would sit and I would stamp out however many I wanted for my project. And then later, while I'm watching TV or talking on the phone, I would simply cut them out then. And you can use these kind of scissors here, which are much more comfortable. There's a little sewing scissors, but these are really for cutting thread. They're not very comfortable, but I do prefer them for tiny details like this hummingbird. I did use these for this, but for these bigger ones like the duck, I would definitely use these. But most everybody has cookie cutters. This is a 30-year supply. I mean, I've even given a ton to my grown kids, and I still have this drawer, and it's a deep drawer. See if I can get back. And I've got this bucket on top, and then all of these inside. I get them when they're on clearance after the holidays. Like Valentine's Day, I got this one. And Christmas, this is a vintage one I actually bought online. And, you can just pick them up after the holidays. Here's one I got after Halloween for 90% off half the time. But cookie cutters can be very cheap or very expensive depending on where you buy them. And if you want a specific one, you can go on Amazon. That's how I got the hummingbird. And that's how I got the crown. And a few of the others. So I've got all kinds of hearts, butterfly, an apple. I thought I had some cutouts of the apple, but I can't find it. But really easy, even a mustache. I've even cut out mustaches. That one's got a little ink on it, but there's no end. If there's a cookie cutter, you can stamp it out and you can cut it out. And the colors are endless. And if you're making something that's two-sided, you can make one side in one color and one in the other. But it's just a fun project, and I'm going to be downloading some videos of projects using this technique. So I wanted to do this video separately to show you how I get my felt shapes, and then I'm going to do some projects to show you what I do with these shapes. But there's so much you can do with them. You can use them in scrapbooking, you can make ornaments, You can do so many fun things with these shapes. So my next video will be the first one on what you can do, and then I'll be doing another one that's a more detailed thing you can do. But it's something with the holidays coming up I thought might be really fun, although I really aren't not showing you any holiday ones, except I got this little tree. I think I stamped you out a little tree here. Let me see if I can find it. I know I did. See a little heart with the leopard? Here's the tree I did. I did a little tree, and he's tiny. Little tiny tree. And you can use everything, but from the teeny tiniest cookie cutters like this set here, that's really little. Let me get the camera, sorry. Hold on, see if I can get it open with one hand. These are teeny tiny. You can see in my hand how little they are. I bought these to use for Fimo clay. But look how tiny they are. But you can use these for this. That's how little this guy is. It's just little. Or you can use big ones. I've got a couple that are ginormous. Let me see if I can show you. Got a big rooster. Look at how big he is. So there's no end to what you can do. And you could actually use this to stamp onto wood if you're going to paint and want a shape. So there's no end to what you can do with the ink pad and these cookie cutters. And guess what? I still use them for baking. I just scrub them really good. I just scrub all the ink off. I make sure there's no ink on them and clean them and dry them. Especially the metal ones, you have to dry them carefully because they do get rusty over years. But you can reuse them to bake, and I've never seen a problem with it as long as you don't leave any ink on it. I would not stamp it with the ink on it into your cookie dough, no. Even if it said non-toxic, which I don't know if these are or not, but I'm sure you can get non-toxic ink. But I use everything. I've got this ink, and I've got memory acid-free dye ink. I've got Craft Essentials from Joanne. Whatever you can get, you can use any color. I choose black usually, and if I'm printing onto a dark fabric, I will use a silver or a white. But just be careful not to use that cookie cutter on the white or silver after using it on the dark unless you clean it up. And you can keep baby wipes by you to clean them as you work if you're going to do a couple different colors. But anyway, I thought this would be an interesting video for you. I'm not going to show you cutting it out because I think you can get that. I will tell you though, I normally am not that sloppy. I usually get it right into the corner of the fabric and try to be as efficient as possible. This is also a great project to use your scraps. And I have a whole box of scraps. I have about a 2-foot pile of felt squares from collecting for 30 years. But I have a box of scraps, and then I have a couple little boxes like this filled with all the different pieces I've cut out over the years. So join me for my next couple videos. I will show you what you can do with these felt shapes, although I'm sure you have a lot of projects of your own you can do too. But cookie cutters are cheap. You can get them at yard sales, thrift stores, estate sales, and that's one thing, they don't tend to mark up very high, unlike other things at the thrift stores and the estate sales. Cookie cutters are usually pretty cheap. I get a lot of them on Amazon if I want a specialty one. That's where I got the hummingbird, and I've gotten a few other really fun ones that I've gotten off of, like I got a little fox. I get a lot of these fun little cute ones from Amazon. So there's a lot of fun things you can do. I guess that was my computer that just beeped at me. A lot of fun things you can do. I hope this was a fun video for you, and I will be back right after this. I'm going to film what you can do with these shapes, the first thing, and then I'll be doing another video in the next day or two that's a little more complicated. So thanks again. I hope you will hit the like button if you enjoyed this video, and if you're new to my channel, I hope you'll hit the subscribe button. But I thank you for joining me today, and I'll be back soon. Bye.